Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport and Sports Keeler's preview of the FA Cup final taking place this Saturday at Wembley Stadium between Manchester City and Watford. Well, Joe, what an occasion it's going to be for Manchester City. A chance to complete the domestic treble. If I can get the words out of my mouth. Domestic treble, first time ever, would be completed in that sense with there being the League Cup and the FA Cup if they beat Watford this weekend. Of course, though, Watford only in their second FA Cup final in history and looking to win the competition as well. But there's more than just a trophy to play for on the line here. You know, if City win, it means Wolves will go into the Europa League after finishing 7th in the Premier League this season. Whereas if Watford win, they would go into the Europa League in the group stages of the Europa League as well. Whereas Wolves would only go in the qualifying round. So yeah, this is a huge game, Joe, for both teams. And, City looking to complete that domestic treble after a fantastic season in the Premier League.
Well, for me, the FA Cup final's always been a big game because it doesn't matter what teams are involved. People have questioned the magic of the FA Cup and whether it's dying a painful death over the years, but for me, it's still one of the biggest competitions in the world. I think maybe Champions League and Premier League are slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Some people argue the FA Cup because it's known worldwide, but so are the other competitions, I think. Yeah, for City it's an important game because they can complete the treble, the domestic treble, the first time a male side has done that, because I think one of the women's teams has done it, but I can't quite remember off the top of my head which one it was, so I apologise.
It's probably either Arsenal or City, one or the other.
It'll be the first time one of the men's teams have actually completed the treble in the sense, like you said, the League, the FA Cup and the League Cup, because previously United did it in '99 with winning the Champions League, the FA Cup was it, I think?
I think
and
so,
the
yeah.
League, and Liverpool did it in '84 with the European Cup League League Cup, and then in 2001 they won 3 cup trophies. They won the UEFA Cup, FA Cup and League Cup. So it'd be a big thing for City to be record breakers there, record holders, and to get another piece of silverware in the cabinet. Let's go with Guardiola's impressive record. I think it's 26 honours already in his short managerial career. Okay, they've all been with big clubs like Barcelona and Bayern Munich, but you've still got to do the job.
Yeah, exactly. Still got to do the job, and that's what City have been doing in the FA Cup so far this season as well. 7-0 beating of Rotherham in the third round, followed by a 5-0 beating of Burnley in the fourth round. Newport suffered a 4-1 loss against City at home in the fifth round, and then things got a little bit trickier for City in the quarter-final stages. A late goal against Swansea saw them win that by 3-2 at the Liberty Stadium, and a 1-0 victory against Brighton in the semi-final stages at Wembley saw them book themselves a place in the FA Cup final for the second season in a row. Joe, you know, this City team, just so much depth in order to get this far in the competition. It shows just how much quality is in the team, and you know, even if they wanted to this weekend, they could still put out their second team in order to give, you know, a deserved rest for the big guns like Aguero and Bernardo Silva and Sterling and things like that. But you know, they're probably not going to do that, are they? They're going to go full out and try and win this treble, aren't they?
I suppose that's the beauty of having a big squad in, having all the money that they can spend, that they can buy these top players and have a squad where they can have 2-3 teams, arguably, and then they can swap it over. Obviously, they're not going to do that because they want that record, they want that silverware, and I can't see them disrespecting Watford in that way. If they do, then it's not on.
They
really,
wouldn't deserve to win it, no.
Yeah. I think, obviously, Aguero will want to keep his record of scoring at Wembley because he's got quite a good record there. I'm trying to remember whether I think it's only 1 or 2 occasions where he's never scored there, I think. Don't quote me on that, by the way. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Major final wise, he's got a good record there at Wembley. I think all the City players want another piece of silverware to the cabinet, and obviously love the fact that they've won the treble over their rivals, painfully winning the league last Sunday. Stuff in my team, but anyway, in terms of Watford, I think Watford, they lost in 2-0, I think it was to Everton in 85, I think it was, or something, I remember rightly on the year, in their only other final appearance. I think with them turning around the semi-final against Wolves after being 2-0 down, I think that's a big thing for them, because when Wolves went 2-0 up, I thought done and dusted. Deulofeu came on and put in that brilliant performance and got them over the line for them, and I think in terms of wanting to get into European football, and then a chance for silverware and creating history of their own because they've never won this competition, I think it's a big thing for Watford to try and get a result here against City. And they've just got to look at Wigan in 2013. Okay, Man City were on a little bit of a dip there. Things weren't going well under Mancini that season. They lost the title to United, and the club were falling apart in terms of ownership of Mancini and the trust between certain players and Mancini. But if they look at that as inspiration, Man City were still favourites that day, and they got toppled by Wigan with that Ben Watson goal. So who's going to be Ben Watson for Watford?
Yeah.
That's what we've got to look at.
Well, they haven't got Ben Watson anymore. He did play for Watford for a brief period of time, but he's no longer at the football club anymore. And as you said, Watford's first FA Cup final since 1984 as well, and they've lost 4 semi-finals as well since 1987. So good for them to get past Wolves in the semi-final stages. Their journey to the FA Cup final is as follows: beat Woking away from home by 2-0, and then followed by a trip to Newcastle and beat them by 2-0 as well. A narrow 1-0 victory against Queen's Park Rangers at Loftus Road, and then that was followed by a quarter-final win against Crystal Palace, local London rivals, 2-1 in that game. And then, as you mentioned, the semi-final clash at Wembley, 3-2 after extra time being played. Gerard Deulofeu getting a brace in that one, as well as a penalty from Troy Deeney. This Watford team, under Javi Gracia, has been absolutely fantastic in the Premier League this season, finishing 11th, so not really a direct representation of how well they've done, really, because in the past we've seen mid-table teams that's finished 10th, 11th, 12th, that kind of range, and not really do that well, whereas Gracia, he's built this team on stability and consistency, and that's what we've seen from Watford this season, and it's paid off already so early into his reign with an appearance at the FA Cup final. Now it's a case of pushing them over the line and getting the FA Cup win under their belts. Who are the players to really look out for in this Watford team, Joe? Deulofeu is definitely one of them. He's certainly come back into the limelight after appearances for the likes of Everton and Barcelona and AC Milan, and not really lived up to expectations. But now at Watford, he seems to be like the real deal, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he seems to have found a home somewhere he's comfortable at Watford. He's quite settled there. Because there was question marks when he joined Watford because he didn't really hit the heights at Everton. I think some of that might have been down to, no offence to Martinez, but some of his tactics, I don't think he really utilised him well. Barcelona didn't really get a chance, whether it was that he was too young or not good enough, I'm not sure. And Milan, I don't really remember much of him on Milan. I know he played for Milan, but that says it already, not meant for his Milan career very well. I think, he seems to have found himself at home. He's been a key player for Watford this season, pitching with obviously 2 goals in semi-final and in other league games as well. He scored. I think Troy Deeney, the captain, talisman, hero, legend for them. I think he's been there for the club for thick and thin. He scored to help. Scored in the playoffs, didn't he, to help them get to the final to come up to the Premier League in that dramatic semi against Leicester. We all remember the commentary lines from that and the scenes there at Vicarage Road that day. And obviously he'll be desperate to get a piece of silverware in the cabinet for Watford. He's caught here or there. I think Hollebass has been quite good at defensively for Watford as well. And Aurelio Gomez, I'm sure this is his last season at Vicarage Road.
Could be his last game as well, because he played in the previous cup games this season. Played in goal, and it would be quite a way out for him to win the competition for Watford if he was to play in goal against Manchester City in the final. Got Capoue as well, absolutely fantastic defensive midfielder this season for Watford, really shone, and I think that's going to be another key battle really in the midfield, and that's where Watford I think have to win the game against City. If they win that midfield battle, then they've got a strong chance, but if they let City play their game and dominate possession, then I think it's going to be a long afternoon, a long evening. I think it's going to be a 5 o'clock kickoff, isn't it, for Watford in this one. So Joe, how do you see this game going? What do you think the scoreline's going to be? Do you think City are going to try and start off quickly and then settle into the game, or do you think Watford will have them going for the entire 90 minutes?
In terms of the midfield, I think you said there about the control of the midfield. I think if they stick Capoue on David Silva, then that can sort of, because David Silva's the metronome in that City side. He controls and dictates the play. They stick Capoue on him, try and control him. I know that means that Bernardo Silva will have a bit of space, and maybe Gundogan if he's the other midfield choice. I'm not sure who they'll pick on in the other position, but the 2 Silvas will play if both fit. So I think in terms of that, stick Capoue on him, and then the other players can worry about the other the other two midfielders and obviously the forward
Yeah.
line. But in terms, I think City will just stick with the game, do what they've done all season, because they've played some brilliant football this season. Guardiola doesn't really need to change the game plan. I think they did well in the Carabao Cup final. Okay, it was 0-0, boring game, but they did well to against a difficult Chelsea side, because Sarri had set his side up
Defensive wall,
defensive wall, and try and catch City on the counter attack. And they nearly had a goal in extra time Chelsea with Hazard, but obviously ruled out.
Because in that Chelsea game, it was only a couple of weeks ago from that final that they actually thrashed them 6-0 at the Etihad. Because they weren't set up defensively right, and Guardiola's total football, the Johan Cruyff total football way, just completely dominated them. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not Watford do follow Chelsea's suit and have that defensive wall up in order to keep City out. And certainly, Aguero, Sterling, Gabriel Jesus when he wants to play, Bernardo Silva, Sané as well, plentiful players that can easily give an attacking threat for this Watford defence. What do you think the scoreline's going to be?
I think City will complete the treble, and I think Watford will score. I think they'll have something for the fans to celebrate on the day. They put a good effort in, but I think City will win 3-1.
Yeah, I think City will win as well. I think 3-1's a fair scoreline, so I'm going to go for that too. I think Watford may even start off this game very strongly and look to get the goal earlier on. But I think as time goes on, with City's possessional total football, looking for the weakness and then striking it kind of play, I think City will come back into this game and win it overall. So I'm going 3-1, he's going 3-1 as well. So it looks like for us, City are going to win the FA Cup and complete the domestic treble.